Well, hi there. It is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie getting underway here on this Tuesday. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jerry Usher along with Debbie Georgiani and the show team in place, and we are set to go. Debbie has picked a wonderful topic for our discussion today. We'll give you the information about that, and then we've got a couple of other things we want to take care of. But hey, Debbie, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Great to be back. And
It
wow, what a
is.
great experience we had in San Antonio. I'm sure you teased that a little bit yesterday.
I did, and I'm hoping that everybody's listening today, so we can just share just what we learned and how we grew together, developed friendships, and thank everybody. And it was named the pilgrimage was named by our attendees, so that was really good. We'll share that as well. So yeah, but did you want me to dive right into the topic, because I'm pretty excited about it. We're already getting messages from it.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a lot of calls today. So yeah, let's go ahead and set that up, and then we can take care of those other items.
Okay, so we titled it "The Emotional Roller Coaster of Parenting." Okay, so remember it, folks. Okay, and by the way, our meme that we posted on take2show.com is the beautiful Rich Jesse family, the Jesse family. Laura and the girls, Rose Claire and Magnolia, beautifully. I mean, they're just an adorable family. That's Rich Jesse, our producer. That's his family and his beautiful baby daughters. So we are just, and Rich just said that was Jeff Burson that put that picture up there. But I know, Rich, you're super proud because what a beautiful family. We're talking about the emotional roller coaster of parenting. Now, Jerry, as parents, I want to talk to the parents out there. And when you think back, when you brought that beautiful, bundled up little baby boy or girl home from the hospital, you know what? They didn't give you a manual with that baby. So you weren't even aware of the gamut of emotions you could feel just in a single day. You could go from feeling sheer, unbelievable joy and unconditional love all the way to fear and worry, and all in one day for 18 years until they go off to college. We're talking about the emotional roller coaster of parenting, but you know what? We wouldn't trade one single minute of it, right? Right, parents? Well, we want to hear from you. Let's talk about it. 833-288-3986. Jerry, I earned a lot of these gray hairs with my raising the two boys. Yeah.
Well, so we would love to hear from others of you if you have an extra gray hair or two from raising your kids. But as Debbie said, you wouldn't trade it for anything. But as somebody who has not been a parent, I'm going to be along on this roller coaster ride and learning a lot myself. But as always, you, the Take Two listeners, you drive the program. It is your show. So if you want to share about maybe an experience you've had or a season of experiences, or maybe how your children, help you grow in virtue in some way by testing you on all these emotions, 833-288-3986. I can't wait to hear what people have to share today.
Well, it just reminds me of the 1989, I've shared this before, 1989 movie Parenthood with Steve Martin and cast. And at the end of the show, they show a roller coaster. This is where we got this from, folks. They show a roller coaster ride and how everybody on the roller coaster, you can go from, sheer bouts of fun and excitement to kind of, a sense of worry, nervousness, what's around the corner, up and down, twists and turns. And then they show the grandmother, right? And she's just laughing all through it. It because it's all in your perspective, right, Jerry? It's kind of like what you say about reframing things. It's so true, though. Parenting does come with a big range of emotions. Let's talk about it. Don't sit this out and let me share all my stories of the huge emotional ups and downs, twists and turns. We want to hear from you. 833-288-3986. And I know we want to get back to the San Antonio pilgrimage, Jerry, because we have so many folks to thank.
Indeed we do. And Ryan is screening your calls, so let him pick up yours right now, and we can talk about this emotional roller coaster of parenting. Do you tend toward one or more particular emotion? Maybe you've learned to cultivate the very positive emotions as you raise your kids. 833-288-3986. And indeed, Debbie, we had a wonderful time in the San Antonio area. And just like the M&M pilgrimage in the Northeast in August, God was really present and showed himself in so many ways. And you mentioned that the pilgrims with us on the trip, they're the ones who gave the name to this pilgrimage as well. Do you want to share what that is?
Yeah, it's called the Saints Tour because we got to view so many relics of the saints that we just love and we go to. So we call it the Saints Tour because, you know, if you look at the San Antonio airport, the initials for the airport is SAT. So we just added the I and the N, so we're calling it the Saints Tour so that we can remember San Antonio. But we also went to the Alamo, and you know how they always said, remember the Alamo, right? So we're not taking away from that because we have to show that respect. But we are just kind of the tagline for our Saints Tour is remember the saints. Get it? I love that. I love how the pilgrims came up with that. But yes, Jerry, it was an amazing time. Again, we want to thank our event assistant, Tony Farmer, for putting in so much, oh my goodness, of her time, her talent, organizing the event. And she put in her own treasure. So what an amazing person to have as the event assistant for this particular pilgrimage. But yeah, we have so many folks.
Yeah, we do. I'm going to just give a few thank yous here. I hope some of these people are listening because they made this an amazing, amazing event. From the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Little Flower in honor of St. Therese, we had Cheyenne Cisneros and Susanna Cantu, and also Robbie Alessia and Father Henry Bordeaux, who gave us a spontaneous impromptu talk while we were there, as well as a blessing. We went to the San Fernando Cathedral, had a beautiful visit there, and a talk by Father Victor Valdez, who is the rector of the cathedral there in San Antonio, along with Eloise Cortez Lara. And at the Shrine of St. Padre Pio, we went there as well. We had help from Patty Mendoza, Randy Hunt, and of course, Monsignor Patrick Ragsdale, who gave us a wonderful talk on in fact, they're going to be building an even newer and bigger shrine at Padre Pio, and we'll be talking about that in the future here on Take Two. Estelle Rodriguez with Visit San Antonio gave Tony a lot of help in preparing this tour for us. Callie Lunsford at the Courtyard by Marriott, where we stayed. She put together a great package for our pilgrims. Richard Reyna, General Manager of the Guadalupe Radio Network in South and Central Texas. Richard was amazing, Debbie, as you would agree, I'm sure. We got an email from Deacon Dennis Perez. He is at Our Lady of Sorrows, and he invited us to go see the John Paul II relic. It's a little piece of the garment he was wearing when he was shot, and a little bit of his blood is on that. So thank you, Deacon Dennis. Patricia Distel with hospitality. Tony Farmer, of course, was amazing. Tony, thank you for your gifts and talents and your generosity. And the pilgrims, obviously, we want to thank them. So today we're talking about the roller coaster of emotions you get as a parent. Share your experience. 833-288-3986.
Hello, I am Bishop Daniel Jenke of the Diocese of Peoria, here in front of the tomb of the venerable servant of God, Fulton J. Sheen. I know how deeply saddened we all are about the postponement of the beatification of Fulton Sheen. But in these turbulent times, when our faith is being tested, which even Fulton Sheen prophesied, we need to remain faithful to prayer like Archbishop Sheen. We are confident in the power of prayer. Let us petition God unceasingly to remove all obstacles for the beatification of Fulton Sheen. So please join me beginning on December the 12th, the feast day of Our Lady of Guadalupe, so that under her immaculate mantle, we begin a special 9-day novena, asking God to please raise up Fulton Sheen and pour out his blessings on his cause for the beatification and canonization. Please go to celebrate.sheen.com for more information on this special novena. God love you.
So very good to be with you here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. I'm Jerry Usher along with Debbie Georgiani and you. And I want to tell you about how you can get 6 free issues of EWTN's publication, the National Catholic Register. all you have to do is go to ncregister.com. I am on that website right now. And believe me, if you want to know what's going on in the church and the world through a Catholic lens, you really need to read and get acquainted with trusted sources. And the National Catholic Register has been that for many, many years. So go to ncregister.com, click on the upper right corner. I'm looking at the Get Six Free Issues banner right now. And those are absolutely free. And if you like what you see after that point, you can subscribe. And if not, you can just say thank you for the 6 free issues. So go to ncregister.com for that.
Sounds like a plan. Everybody should do it. Okay, we've got a couple open phone lines. We want to hear from you. We're talking about the emotional roller coaster ride of parenting. And we want to talk about all aspects. And you know what? Listen, folks, I think we can safely say, all of us parents, we feel this way. We've been through a lot raising kids. There may have been financial difficulties, things happening in the home, things happening with the child themselves. Maybe was some disabilities, learning disabilities, things that was challenges we had to face, but we wouldn't change a single minute of it. Okay. It's just a precious gift to be entrusted with these beautiful children. So we want to hear from you. Tell us the emotional roller coaster ride. We want to hear the good, the bad, and, even the ugly. 833-288-3986. Please fill up those phone lines. Okay, so now, first up, we have one of our Take Two family members. And yesterday, Jerry, in the middle of the show, she was so kind to text me because remember, I always say, the Take Two family is praying round the clock and we want those praise reports. And so she was so kind. Jennifer texted me right in the middle of the show that I almost, Jerry, burst out into a scream of delight in the middle of the show, but nobody would have known what I was talking about. So I spoke with Jennifer after the show and I asked her if she would call in this morning and share a little bit. And she wanted to share just how grateful she is to the Take Two family and, of course, to her local radio station, the Station of the Cross, for having, Catholic radio in her area that she could tap into and be a listener and supporter. So we wanted to bring her on the air. Jennifer from Lancaster, Ohio. Jennifer, welcome to the family again, Take Two family.
Thank you, Debbie. Hi, Jerry.
Hi, Jennifer. Great to have you with us.
Yes, it's been a roller coaster, as you said, of a ride between trying to take care of my kids and keep a job, and I lost my job, and I just got the news yesterday on the day of Immaculate Conception, right after my confession, that I got a job.
Isn't that great?
And I know isn't it great? God is good. But it's all thanks to your prayers, to the Take Two family, and I want everybody out there in the family to know that we are praying for each other. My children and I pray together every single night for the Take Two family. So I just wanted to thank everybody for their blessings, for their prayers, for everything they've done for me. And I'm just so joyful that God has blessed me with a new job.
Yeah. Well, Jennifer, we have been praying as a Take Two family for you to get that job because you've got a son and a daughter that you need to provide for. And you know what? The good Lord, we just continue to pray that the good Lord blesses you and your family. And we're just so thrilled that you are part of the Take Two family. And thank you for reminding all of us that these prayers, they have power. And when we do it together as a family, our God is listening. And it's a beautiful thing. Jennifer, if I can just tap into a couple things for our listeners' sake. I know when we spoke yesterday, you and I talked about it and we said, wow, how fast God works. You had said that it was like 2 hours after you came out of the confessional. You want to share just a little bit about that, about how interesting is that, that you came out of the confessional, just in that beautiful state of grace. And then you get the news that you've got this job. And I understand it's in the field that you like working in and you're used to working in. So it really is turning out to be quite a dream job.
It is. It's exactly what I've wanted to do. It's exactly the same field that I've been in. It's more than a blessing. And I don't even know what else to say. I'm
Yeah,
just
no, I
like,
know. Well, okay, how about this?
I'm
So we
done.
talked about that. Well, we talked about
But
that, but also, go ahead.
after it was literally 1 hour after I come out of the confessional. And that just, I mean, I was already walking on air because confession just feels so good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I get this news, and I was high as a kite. I wanted to scream it from the rooftops. I was so happy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Jen, we're so happy with you. I told you yesterday when I was on the phone, I just feel like, celebrating. I felt like I won the lottery because I was so grateful to God that he
Yeah.
heard all of our prayers. I mean, Jen, you're a great mom and you need to provide for your two kids. And I know you've been through a lot with your previous marriage and stuff, and you're right now you're currently living with your folks and stuff like that, and so you've got to get back on that, and the good Lord heard our prayers. But Jen, you said something yesterday that I wanted the Station of the Cross to hear, and all the other local radio stations that I think are so important. And I said to you, Jennifer, please, if we could record your testimony, I think it would help others to go from being a listener to a supporter of their local radio station. Just real quickly talk about when you became a supporter of the Station of the Cross.
When I became a supporter, it was during the last drive, and I just, gave my donation, and it seemed like everything just seemed to go up from there. I felt like the radio station, it's not just there to listen to. It helps people. It teaches people. It guides them to where they need to go. And being a supporter made me feel like I'm part of this real family. And I want other people to feel like they need to support the family too. We're all in this together.
Absolutely.
This is a big deal. It's not just a regular radio station. It's not just a listen to it when you're bored station. This is a family. All of the Catholic radio stations together are a family, and we all need to support each other. And it felt so good that I almost wanted to cry just to be able to help out.
Yeah, Jennifer, a lot of people have experienced those emotions that you did, not only getting that job, but like you said, when you stepped forward and became a financial supporter of the Station of the Cross. And like you're saying, I always say, Catholic radio is not here to sell you stuff like, commercials, toasters and ties and fast food and stuff. Catholic radio actually loves you. Your Catholic radio station loves you, listeners. Please understand that, in EWTN as well. So please, in these times that we're living in, be generous to EWTN and to your local affiliate because they need that so very, very much. Jennifer, anything else before we let you go on with your busy day?
No, I think that's it. Just I love the whole Take Two family so much, and thank you guys for your support.
You're very
Thank you,
welcome.
Jennifer. We love you as well, and thank your beautiful children for praying for all of us. We really appreciate it because God hears those real innocent voices that come straight up to heaven. So thank you, Jennifer, for doing that with your beautiful kids every night. God bless you. We'll talk soon, I'm sure. Thank you for calling in. I know you probably got to fill out all the forms to get started with your job. So we can't wait to be journeying with you. I think that's so exciting. So thank you, Jennifer.
Thanks, Jennifer. Here's the phone number to be on the program today, 833-288-3986. We are talking about the emotional roller coaster of parenting. Again, it's something I have not experienced personally, but of course I grew up in a family, so I experienced my own parents' emotions on many occasions. So we just want to know, have you learned to cultivate your positive emotions? Have you experienced maybe some surprises about yourself along the way that you have maybe more patience than you thought or a little bit more virtue? What do you do when your kids, start to drive you to maybe some negative emotions? How do you put that in check and make sure that you are always loving and caring and kind to them in every situation? 833-288-3986. Alba, hang on just a minute. Debbie, a couple things. First of all, I would like to ask for people to, if you be so kind as to keep my mother's soul in your prayers today. She would have been 95 years old. Wow. So please, my mother Dorothy, if you would say a little prayer for her, that she is quickly escorted into the heavenly kingdom of God. I would appreciate that very much. And Debbie, this is just breaking right now. It's on CatholicNewsAgency.com, which is a service of EWTN. There was a standoff with a suspect at the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception in Washington, D.C., and that left 2 people injured, 2 security guards, as a matter of fact. So, folks, go to CatholicNewsAgency.com, and you can get details on that. I'm sure, Debbie, they'll be updating that every time there's some more news to post, though. Not a good experience, not a good scene there at the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception here on the day after we celebrate that feast day. So,
Yep. There's a lot of hurting, wounded souls walking around that are being untreated and uncared for. And I tell you what, Jerry, we've got to pray. We've got to pray this stops. It's madness. It really is. Jerry, we're getting a lot of text messages coming in. Jennifer, I hope you're still listening. Everybody's saying they're pulling out the Kleenex. They just love you to pieces, and they want to send you those virtual hugs that we do so well on the Take Two family. I think it's so wonderful. All the texts are coming in very fast. You can text us as well. You text the letters EWTN to 55000. That's how you text us. If you want to email us, it's take2@ewtn.com, or you can call us. There's some open phone lines at 833-288-3986. And today we're talking about parenting and how it's the emotional roller coaster of being a parent, a first-time parent especially. Boy, oh boy, you never were used to all those emotions you'd feel in a 24-hour day, every single day. It's so true, Jerry. I mean, you go from super happy to like worried in 2 seconds as a parent.
Mm-hmm.
It's
well,
crazy.
I can imagine, I think you posted on the show website, that parenting doesn't come with a manual, so you have to kind of learn along the way. So please join us with your experience. There are people listening whom you will be helping. You'll be inspiring with your take today. 833-288-EWTN. Okay, I want to go to the phones. Here we go. Why don't we do that? We have Alba is first in Miami, listening on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Alba. Welcome to Take Two, and thanks for your patience.
Hi, how are you? I can't believe about the basilica. That's horrible. Or the shrine. That's just horrible.
It is.
I'm calling with regards to a rift that I find that I'm having with my stepdaughter and the family. She's going to be 17, and I'm hoping these are just the growing pains of being 17. But she's decided not to come by anymore to the house. And I raised her along with my children, and I've never distinguished between stepbrother and stepsister. I've always said, this is your sister. So it's starting to hurt my 12-year-old and 10-year-old who say, why doesn't our sister come by anymore? And nothing I can do could persuade her to just, what did we do to you? I don't understand why you decided to just basically not come by, not visit. I've been going to mass and praying for it. I just don't know what to tell the children with regards to their older sister and what to do with the older sister. So should I punish her because she's still under 18? Should I avoid her? I don't know what to do.
Do you want to go first, Jerry?
Well, yeah, just a couple thoughts that I have. Again, Alba, as you probably know, I have not been a parent myself, but it sounds like, this is it's a unfortunate situation that you have there. Obviously, you mentioned you're going to mass and you're praying a lot, and I was simply going to say exactly that. I was going to say these kinds of things. As far as my non actual experience would be concerned, is to approach this on your knees, so you're doing that the right way. You had asked, about punishing her in some way, Debbie. I don't know if that would that may drive a deeper wedge, between Alba and your stepdaughter. I don't know, but Debbie, I'm sure you've got some thoughts on this.
Well, Alba, you know that we're not counselors or therapists, but I've been a parent, and I can understand when kids start to pull away, especially when they hit the teenage years. And plus, I worked in religious education where we used to hear it all the time. And I would, if it, I'm finding that in this world right now, people are doing things, and we don't really know why they are doing them. Okay, so we're not really understanding their come from. Have you thought about sitting down with her, and maybe you have, and you've done this without any tension, and just saying, what are you feeling? What do you think about our family? How do you feel about everything? Just ask questions and to see where her come from is. If she's totally, for some reason, closed off, or for some reason she has distanced herself because she feels like she's a stepdaughter or whatever, well, then that's her issues that she's going to have to grow through and mature. But I think after you ask her a series of questions, then you just speak from your heart and say, we love you. It's her, when you're not in the family, there's something missing. And we miss that. We miss you. So I would just say, Alba, if you can hang on a little bit, I'd love to hear your response to this, because I think sometimes we miss where people's come froms are. I mean, we're seeing it right now in our government structure. People have all these agendas, and then when you start to peel back the layers, you say, oh, I see where that's why they are pushing that, or I see why they're so angry in this area, because everybody has what they think is so important in their life. But sometimes we don't know it. It's like a big secret to everybody else around them. So let's really talk about this. Alba, if you can stay on, I think this could help a lot of families, especially during the holiday season when there's a lot of tensions and a lot of things happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you want to call in 833-288-3986 and join the discussion, we'd love to hear from you on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Mother Angelica.
We have to get back into our hearts and mind the value of life. If you don't care about the unborn, I don't think you're going to care about the elderly.
The leading Catholic voices are on EWTN Radio.
Why do we need Catholic radio? Because not everybody's sitting in front of a computer or watching their television set at home. How about when driving to work? Catholic radio's there for you. I may be a Catholic priest, but I'm still a student of the faith, and Catholic radio helps supply good material, whether it be a question and answer format show, whether it be a show itself on doctrine or theology. I myself, as a priest, am always learning.
Father Wade thinks Catholic radio is important. So should you.
This is Life Issues with Brad Mattis, president of Life Issues Institute.
Throughout most of the ongoing battle to end abortion in America, pro-abortion forces have displayed a facade of unity, speaking with one voice. Their disagreements were concealed behind closed doors. This has changed during recent years. A simmering debate over pro-abortion strategy and engagement has spilled over into the public arena. Planned Parenthood was drawn into a messy split between the abortion giant and its new president over future battle plans. Many independent abortion mills harbor a seething hatred for Planned Parenthood. Recently, an abortionist testified on behalf of pro-lifer David DeLayden, who was being sued by the organization. These conflicts cause disarray in pro-abortion ranks and helps our efforts to protect unborn babies and their mothers.
Follow us on Twitter at Life Issues USA and stay informed, more informed than you've ever been.
I'm Gloria Purvis.
And I'm Father Bjorn Lundberg. And I'm Deacon Harold. Morning Glory team asks, would you take money to have more children?
Tomorrow morning, 7 Eastern. Now back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
This is your show. It's Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We gather for a conversation every day at this time. There's also a replay of each day's broadcast at midnight Eastern Time on most of these same EWTN radio stations. Phone number to be in this conversation about the emotional roller coaster of parenting, 833-288-3986. We're talking with Alba in Miami, who her stepdaughter has basically cut her off. And Alba, we want to throw it back to you. We both shared a little bit. I think what Debbie shared was a very good idea. I don't know if that's something you've tried or thought about, but what do you think about what we've said so far?
I agree with it, but we've also sat down with her, and she said she's going to work on it, but that she's a teenager and she has, a lot of friends now, and she basically joined a different church than what we go to. We're Roman Catholic, and she joined a church that's very fanatical, like with the smoke and the lights and the sleepovers at the church every weekend and the potlucks. And it's not so much that I do not appreciate that she has a church to go to that she feels comfortable with, but it's a different denomination. It's Protestant. So she's asked that we go attend that church, but I don't feel comfortable. I try to tell her that we feel differently about the Eucharist. We feel differently about the Virgin Mary. I understand that your church might have great Bible study, But if they cut a couple of books out of the Bible, I'm not necessarily agreeing with that. So I'm okay with you worshiping where you worship, and we worship where we worship. But since I'm not her mother, I don't feel that I am entitled to sort of convert her. She has her faith, I have my faith, but I don't understand why that would cause a schism in the entire family.
Well, may I comment on that, Jerry, first? It can, because some of these evangelical churches, these non-denominational churches, they will weave in these statements that will chip away at a person's understanding of Catholicism. They do it very subtly, and it's very planned, if you will, just to make, because most of the people sitting in those pews are fallen away Catholics. Okay, and so what happens is they have to try to establish why everybody is there. And so they do that to reinforce their position there. And so, yes, it is a Bible study. And yes, she is, a Christ believer, which is great. Okay. But there's where there's a problem there. And that in religious education, I used to tell the families of these kinds of situations all the time, Alba, that it's very dangerous when you say, okay, well, we'll worship at your non-denominational church and then we'll go to the Catholic church. We'll bounce back and forth. I actually have seen so many great Catholic families leave the Catholic church because they like all the bells and whistles at these non-denominational churches. It feels like a real concert production. It has a lot of stimulation and all your senses and you feel like you're walking you're floating on air when you come out of there. So I can understand why she's drawn to it, but I also understand, how that could be sort of chipping away at your family unit. What I would suggest, obviously she's believing in Christ, so that's a great thing. There's a lot of kids right now that are just saying they're spiritual and they don't believe in anything. Okay, so that's great news, and you build on that. I think the best thing to do, Alba, at this point is to just show your beautiful, joyous family as mega style in just a great way. Always be showing the joy-filled Catholics that you are as a family. Let her be drawn back into that circle, and realize how happy you guys are and how content you are. But without, you don't even really have to say anything. You just have to be Catholic and be an excited Catholic and a joy-filled Catholic and see if that can help. But I also would stress to her that you miss her. You miss her terribly. And without her, there's something missing. And I think if you can keep piercing her heart like that, she'll say, you know what? They really do love me and they really do miss me. And I don't want to be away from that, because people are drawn into love. They just are. And people want to be accepted. I don't know if that helps at all. What do you think, Alba?
Oh, that helps. That helps because we originally said that we missed her, but then it just turned into like, wow, like she doesn't care about us. She hasn't come by in like a month and a half. I mean, this is crazy. So
right.
So it turned from missing to anger. And,
right.
and I don't know how to flip the switch on every member of the family to flip it back to missing her.
Okay, well, yep, absolutely. But okay, here's how you do it. Text messaging. People respond in 7 seconds. And all you have to respond is take the anger out of it. Take it out of it. Don't take it personally. This is her 17-year-old journey. Okay. I think you said she was 17 years old. Okay. So don't get into the anger part. All right. Because she's not even mature enough to realize that she's having this kind of impact like this. Okay. What I would do is just every second you think of her, send her a text and just say, honey, I'm thinking of you. Gosh, I miss you. I just love you. I love you. I'm sure there's different things you love about her smile, her, the way she comes into a room or whatever. Just send her a 1 second, every so often, tap, 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 drip on her the love. And you will see it's so hard to keep up those walls when somebody is just showering pure unconditional love on you. It's so hard to keep up those walls, even in a developing mind as hers, and she's maturing. Do you think that's something maybe you could get the family to do?
Yes. Yes.
Cool. Cool. And you'll see. It might take time, a couple months, but you know what? You'll see her come back around a little bit, and you hold on to that. And I think it's, these kids are going through a lot. They're facing a lot in this world, and it's tough. It's not like when we were kids. I'm telling you, these kids are having they're being bombarded by the world telling them to do this, do that. And it's really tough. I think it's a lot harder than when I was growing up. I don't know how you feel, Jerry.
Well, no, and I would just finally maybe add this, Alba. I think even though she's in a bit of a, distant place from the family right now, even a little bit of a rebellious place, we still have to believe and trust that she still has her eyes fixed on you and the family. And she may be at this other church. She may be going down this other path over here. But the thing is, real joy, real love, all of that really rises to the top. And she may or may not find that in that church she's going to or among her friends. But if she glances back at you and the family, even in her mind or in her heart once in a while, if not stopping by, I think she's gonna realize before too long, she's gonna say, you know what, that is where I'm really loved, and that is where I'm really appreciated and affirmed and validated as a human being. Where, like I say, she may or may not get that out there where she's going right now. But just allow the Lord to fill the gap right now that exists between the two of you. Just ask Jesus, please get in here and just provide your presence and your grace to be working in her heart as we continue to pray for her. So,
yep, amen.
Okay, Alba.
Thank you, Alba. Thank you so very much. Any last comments before we let you go? And we wish you a beautiful Advent.
No, but thank you very much. I enjoy your show immensely. I listen to it all the time.
Oh, thank you so
and
much.
I'm wondering, and I always wonder, why isn't Jerry married and with children? Like, I was like, why?
Maybe I'll do a show on that someday. That's a good question, Alba. But
yeah, you should do a show on it. I think it would be good.
Thanks, Alba.
Thanks.
We have done shows on, we did the show Still Looking for Love, and people in their 40s and 50s and living life as a single. So, I don't know. God has me at this place right now, but, things are always subject to change.
You're too independent. I keep telling you that. You're too independent.
As I reflect on that sometimes, I really believe, I wouldn't want to inflict me on a beautiful lady.
I know. Okay, so Johnny just called in from San Antonio, Texas. We so loved meeting Johnny and his wife, and he called in and said he loved meeting us this past weekend. Well, we loved meeting you, so in person, because you've called in before. So thank you so much, Johnny. It was an amazing time. We're looking forward to maybe planning another trip to a different city in Texas as well. Okay, so here's the number to get onto this emotional roller coaster ride of parenting, 833-288-3986. And we had some text messages come in for Alba saying, yeah, that was great advice. They would echo that and continue to shower her with that love. Steve also called in and said that Jennifer's call helped him. So that was wonderful, but I guess he couldn't stay on the line. So now we'll move to Amy, and Amy is in Kingston, North Carolina, listening on Sirius XM 130. As a first-time listener and caller, you get a double virtual bell. Amy, welcome.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Very well, very well.
Great. Well, I am calling in just to encourage Alba and the others. I'm an older gal. I've got 9 children and 9 grandchildren, and I just want to encourage them that God will give you what you need for what you got. My husband and I came into the church 20 years ago last month, 4 weeks before our 8th child was born. So it was kind of like romper room in a 3-ring circus sitting in the pews near us when we first came into the church. Because the church we left, you dropped everybody off at the door and got to sit peacefully in church by yourself without any distractions from any little people. And things were very different when we joined this Catholic church.
Well, Amy, thank you for calling, and thank you and your husband so much for being so open to life, and welcome home, even though it's been now, 20 years for you. Congratulations and praise God. As you're talking, I'm just wondering, with 9 kids, like I said, I've never been, had kids myself, but I'm wondering, you've got probably, I can almost envision this tug of war of emotions, because one child is leading you to be, feel this emotion, another one this emotion, another one that emotion. Is that kind of the way it was? You have to kind of keep everything in balance, I would guess, with that many kids, with any kids for that matter.
when I understood that they were not lemmings or clones, that they actually were their own person with their own personality. And like, for example, my two oldest are polar opposites, but I didn't have a house with 9 bedrooms, actually 10, so that everybody got their own space. So we had them all stacked up pretty high with bunk beds and cribs and cradles and all of that. And my oldest son is very outgoing and very much a messy. And my second oldest son is very much an introvert, and everything had to be in its place and couldn't stand to have a mess. And so I learned that, yes, for the older one, we had to work on getting a little bit tidier and neater, but I didn't want to walk up the stairs and just be thoroughly frustrated because their room was a disaster all the time. So I put the bunk bed in the middle of the room, and I put my oldest half of the room on the far side and my second oldest on the front side. So when I came up the stairs, there was a nice, tidy, neat room. Now, the other side looked like a hurricane had bumped through, but we continued to work on it. But I allowed them to be who they were, and we worked on, you know, as best I was able. I tried to emphasize the strong character that they had and then work on the areas of weakness, but understood that they didn't all have the same one.
Right, right. You treated them as the individuals that they are, unique, you know, and that's the beauty of how God created all of us. You know, it's so unique, and so amazing. And so you brought that out. You brought out their personalities and let them grow and mature. Okay, Amy, so I just have to do this because I love it. I think it's hilarious. When my mother used to get ready to call one of us, whether she was calling us for dinner or maybe kind of yelling at us a little bit, she would run down all 6 names as fast as possible until she got the one that, you know, she was trying to target. Okay, but Amy, you got to do it. Can you run down? I know you only have one girl that you have to remember. You got 8 boys. Can you run down from top to bottom real fast for us, just first names?
Matthew, Joshua, Daniel, Josiah, Benjamin, Samuel, Mary, Jonathan, Michael, Bailey, the dog. Wait, which one are you?
Bailey the dog. I have a neighbor who's got a dog named Bailey. Go ahead, Amy. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say my oldest was always and only Matthew. My second oldest was usually Joshua. My third was Daniel. And we went down until we got to my daughter, Mary. And, you know, oh, gosh, Mary, that's a good Catholic name. Well, when we chose her name, I rolled my eyes and said, oh, brother, they're really going to think we're Catholic now. There hasn't been a Catholic in either of our families for 500 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So it just was her name. I just knew that was the name the Lord had chosen for her.
Right.
So she was only and ever Mary. And then the next one was, because the next one was another boy, it was like starting over again. He was only and ever Jonathan. But my youngest, bless his heart, he's going to be 18 in the spring. Still to this day, he is Michael. So his name is Michael, but because the next one above him is Jonathan, it always comes out Michael.
Oh.
And I was afraid when he went to kindergarten that the teacher would say, and honey, what's your name? And he would look at her very sweetly with his big brown eyes and say, Michael.
How do you spell that?
Yeah, right. Wait a minute.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, Amy.
Amy, you go through the list.
Yeah, I have to tell you, just hearing you, first of all, you have such a young sounding voice. So you probably could, I think it's okay. I think it's safe to fib a little about your age because you sound very, very young and in a very joyful spirit. But as you were talking about all the boys and then the one girl, I couldn't help but think about Jerry's brother and sister-in-law that live here in Arizona. And how many times did they have boys before Gianna came?
Well, they've had 10 conceptions, 2 miscarriages, but they have 7 boys and 1 girl.
Yeah.
So. So maybe, Amy, I need to ask you the question that I always ask them or kind of joked about. God bless the young man who wants to date your daughter, right? Because she's got to get through not only her daddy, but eight brothers.
Not only does she have to get through, said Daddy, she's got 8 big brothers. They start at 6'2" and go up to 6'6".
Oh.
Wow.
So, they're big brothers. And she just graduated in May from Christendom College in Front Royal. And I just found out a couple weeks ago, she told me of this story that one time a couple of the guys from the boys' dorm broke into the girls' dorm and had masks on their face and were trying to scare the girls and, And my daughter was not having that. Apparently, all the girls were squealing and screaming, and she ran up to one and punched them and threw a shoe at them, and as they were running away, she chased them. She's like, oh, no, I'm not doing this girly thing. Get out of here. This is the girls' dorm. So she holds her own with her pink nail polish.
I was just taking a sip of water when you said that, Amy, and you almost made me choke. But wow, Debbie, I don't want to, if you have something else, Deb, but I'm just wondering, Amy, real quickly, as you and your husband approach kind of being empty nesters, I know you won't be ultimately empty nesters because with 8 kids and all the grandkids coming, you'll always have some activity in the house. But, what are your emotions and your thoughts about this, as your youngest gets ready to maybe be out of the home?
She's got grandchildren, too.
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely.
We do have grandchildren, and a lot of them are nearby. In fact, I'm on my way home from just spending the last 4 days with 2 of my granddaughters while my son and daughter-in-law went to the Marine Corps ball. But it's the strangest feeling. I don't know how to fix a meal because I always fix too much or not enough because I'm used to cooking for a small army.
Right.
The quietness, the silence in the house is deafeningly noisy. I don't like it. I like for there to be commotion and conversation. Our youngest son, who's the youngest of the tribe, he hates being home, not because he doesn't like being around his folks, because we have a great relationship, but it's like he can't stand the quiet. It's just so quiet. And so
I get it.
my three youngest are home, but because 2 of them are working full time, the conversation and the commotion is very different, and they're usually busy on the weekends, and so that's very odd. And my youngest son goes to Sheen School in Manassas with Mrs. Ann Carroll as his principal, and we always have the enthronement dance the Saturday before Christ the King. And I was really excited. I'm like, woohoo, this is my last one. And I show up for Mass, and I sit down, and I'm a puddle of tears. I'm like, oh, my God, this is the last one I get to come to. And I look around, and there's a couple other moms that are also, their youngest is also attending after a whole line of a slew of children, and we're all sitting there blowing our nose and wiping our tears, and we're like, where did this come from? It was a shock. We were excited to go, thinking, woohoo, we've checked another box, but then we realized that it's the last time we get to check that box. And it's a bittersweet. It's a bittersweet. So as you're muddling through as a young mom, the busyness of toddlers is exhausting and joyful. And then they become, big kids. And it's a whole different dynamic that you get to have conversations, and they are thinkers. And they're having conversations back with their own opinions. Then you've got preteens and hormones, and you're like, whoa, what is going on here? Then you've got the teenage years where you've got, they're trying to figure out who they are and what they're all about. And and how that all works. And then you've got young adults, and you're like, wow, they're making really great choices, or they're not, and they're breaking the code that was a horrible idea. And then when you hear them older ones say to the younger, dude, listen to mom and dad, they actually know what they're talking about. And you're like, whoa, hold up, I think I ought to sit down for this one. It's a crazy, it is a roller coaster. It's the best way to say it. One of my greatest joys is to see my kids teaching their kids the faith. And one of my biggest heartbreaks is to not see it. And as I pray for them daily that they return, I continue to pray. Because we all came into the church, but we haven't all stayed in the church. My olders who chose a different path. They,
prepare to turn left in half a mile.
Sorry, I'm on my way home.
That's okay.
Some of them have come back, and some of them have not quite. Their children, as they say, oh, I want my child to be baptized, it opens a conversation that for them to be baptized, mom or dad needs to actively be attending Mass and what that means.
1,000 feet.
And so,
turn left onto US 258 bypass.
Sorry. So it's a journey to watch them grow and choose their path.
Now turn left.
Well, you know what, Amy, let me jump in real quickly because so many of our folks, our YouTube chats are going strong, and folks are texting in like crazy saying, we need a book from you, Amy, because you really have grasped this whole idea of this concept of what we're talking about, this roller coaster of emotions, where we are actively engaging as parents, and we can have some a little bit of control over our kids, and then they grow up and we have to kind of take a step back and kind of watch as they make their own decisions. And we pray, we have the ups and downs, the twists and turns, the tears, the laughter, this was the perfect, I believe, Holy Spirit inspired call that you said yes to call in, because I think we needed to hear that from a person that has walked through it from 9 times. Okay, and now as a grandparent, I think it's important that we know that as parents, we're not alone in these feelings. Because I think a lot of parents sometimes go to bed at night and they think, am I failing? Why am I feeling this way? Why, what is happening? My kids, I can't control them anymore, and this is happening. But hearing your life story, and then to also experience, like Jerry and I both said, your joyous, just joy-filled spirit, your youthful sound, and how excited you are about your family. I think it gives us all just another shot in the arm going, you know what? This family thing, it's a good thing. It's the domestic church, and we wouldn't trade a single second of it. Any last comments, Amy? I tried to buy you sometimes.
Real
you can turn
quick,
off
we got
your
about
GPS lady.
I will say we do a baking of the pies for only the girls, the daughter-in-laws, and I have learned, and I learned this, and I embrace it, love the ones you love.
Mm.
You
Amy,
can't
thank you.
control them, but you can love them.
That's a beautiful note to wrap up this broadcast on. Amy, thank you so much. We got to let you go before the whole world knows where you live, okay? And when I recognize that voice, I think it was Siri. She's in my phone, too. Anyway, God bless you, Amy, you and the entire family. We'll be praying for those kids and grandkids of yours who are not in the Catholic Church right now. It's really a prayer intention that so many people share. And Debbie, following on today's show, we're going to talk tomorrow about what virtue would we like to have more of. So that's our kind of a follow-up to today's topic.
Be thinking about that, praying about it, and we'd love to hear from you tomorrow on Take 2 with Jerry and Debbie. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. Until tomorrow, have a beautiful and blessed day. See you real soon.